Hi, if you know who I am, good for you. This video probably isn't for you because only a few people I know are gonna actually understand what I'm about to say. One of the things I want to talk about, firstly, is the interview between Hasan Piker and Professor Jiang. Um, a couple other things I want to talk about is, I guess you could call them secrets of the universe, or kind of, I guess, how the universe works, because I feel like the more people that are out here talking about these things and trying to maybe dumb it down or just get more people tuned in, I feel like the better shot that we all have as a collective species down here, right? So, mainly, what I want to talk about in that interview is that Professor Zhang stated that there's people that can pull future insights by intently meditating. And he's not wrong, but the way he articulated it did a disservice to it. And I could tell on Hassan's face that like he just wasn't buying that. And the 20-some thousand people in his chat definitely weren't buying that. So I just want to explain this a little bit more, bring a lot more people into the fold who may or may not see this. And if this ended up in your feed and you're watching it right now, congratulations. There's a reason for it. So with this meditation thing, right? You can do it on certain objects or materials. I'm not really sure myself which objects or materials, but the idea is that you can pull and you can put an essence into these things, right? Kind of like the Al-Kaaba in Mecca. If you have something like that, the idea is that you can put essence in and pull essence out, across space and time. That's basically what these people are doing. They can kind of pull ideas from past, present, future, whichever, and go with it. That's how a lot of these people can sit at the top of even the top people in all of our civilizations here on Earth and just kind of control everything. It's kind of like a board game to these people in a way. Next thing I want to talk about is that you're not the thoughts that happen up here, right? If a thought pops into your head, it wasn't because of you. An intrusive thought pops in, it's not because of you, right? There's a left path and a right path and a middle path. And your goal in life is to kind of not be too left, not be too right, and definitely don't be too middle, and don't be too passive, right? And I'm not talking about political spectrums here. I'm talking about when someone is getting mugged in front of you, you could have the option to help whoever, like you could help them not get mugged. You could choose to mug them with the mugger. You could choose to just stand there, record it, and do nothing. There's these things play into everything. So you're not the thoughts that happen. When I say chocolate milk, what pops into your head? What image just popped into your head, right? What did you think of? Whose chocolate milk? What brand? Did you think of yourself drinking a cold glass of it? Who put these ideas in your head? Because it wasn't you. It was all this stuff that you intake all day, every day. It's the TikTok. It's the Facebook. It's the ads. It's all of it. They're collective. This is a shared reality, and we're all playing a hand in it. Right? Even if you just sit on rain bed all day and doom scrolling TikTok. So the idea is that you're not your thoughts, and up here, well, not really up here, but like outside of our 3D universe type deal, there's things influencing everything, right? Just like how the sun can influence everything down here on Earth, and the planets inside our solar system all influence each other, right? Kind of like the idea that without Venus, we wouldn't have had eukaryote cells, right? There wouldn't have been a need for competition or being better. That's why when people say Mercury's in retrograde, it's people have a hard time creating things. People call Saturn the prison planet. That's probably why we're all stuck in these bodies, and you can't just put yourself into a dog's body or transfer your consciousness like it's as easy as to breathe air, pretty much. There's limitations to what we can do down here. And up there, or outside of all of this, I should say, it's all doing its own thing. There's a great choreography, a great orchestra, a great dance between everything going on outside that comes down here and influences everything. The idea is to try to dumb it down and bring as many people as I can into the fold that can understand it, hopefully. Mainly someone like Hasan. I wish Hasan could just see it. But if you're too materialist, like thinking, right, and you've spent your whole life thinking a certain way, it's going to be hard to get you to see another way. And it just grinds my gears. So many people want to care about, like, wages and Medicare for all. These are great things, by the way. Like, I 100% back the DSA and any socialist that wants to run for office. I back that 100%. It's just these are issues created by us that do not matter. Okay? What really matters is we should be all trying to love each other, not harm each other, not take what someone else has that you want. Like, these are silly, silly, silly things. Just, it makes me laugh every day that I see people just being like, oh, $80,000 truck and all my bills and my big house. I gotta go cut my grass. Like, these things are silly. Okay? Like, they're so silly. And I just don't get why so many people would rather care about these things down here that you see with these things instead of, like, caring about the way you feel about it all and how we can all play a hand in making this a better place. What I want to show you is something called the Chalice. This was made by a guy whose YouTube channel is called Restoration of the Breach. He can articulate these things better than I can. He has way more in-depth knowledge. Me, I'm just trying to dumb down, like, the things that I understand intrinsically and can put into words for you, pretty much. This guy, if you want to check him out, his channel is Restoration of the Breach. He's been spending his entire life studying Kabbalah and the secrets of the universe. He drew that from memory because, like I said, their goal in life is to become so enlightened, and to prove that, you have to draw these magnificent things by hand and by memory. And this is only one of them, right? And what I wanted to emphasize here is that the red and the white indicate like a good and an evil, but they're extreme, right? They're an extreme, like, opposite of each other. They may not be, like, actually good or evil. They're just words I can use it as an example that you'll understand. Our 3D universe, our material plane, sits on the bottom. That bottom one, that's called Malkuth, right? Malkuth. That's where we sit. And as you can tell, there's a whole lot of bullshit going on above us, right? So that's why when I say your $80,000 truck is silly, there's things we don't fully understand going on above us. Because think about our world, not literally, but think about, as an example, think about our world as a video game. Someone would have had to have created that video game, right? But come to find out that the person who made the video game, someone created him, right? And it just keeps going. We don't have it mapped out super far because it's pointless. There's no reason to know how far it gets mapped out, and it's kind of like a sin to even question it. A sin to these people, right? Not the sin that you think of the Bible, like eating shrimp or something, or being gay. Again, silly things. The Bible is silly. I'm not even going to get started on it because that's for a different conversation. But again, this is basically the framework for how things kind of work down here in a way. It's the tree of how it's all built. And like I said, we sit on the very bottom. The phrase as above, so below, it's not just a fucking white girl tapestry affect, right? It's a true thing, right? There's got to be a balance to things. What happens up here, if a thought comes into your head, use your hands to put that thought into reality, right? You're creating things. If you choose to, I don't know, punch a window out at a neighbor that you're mad at, right? That's you putting something into the world. Granted, that's a bad act. You shouldn't be destroying someone's things. You shouldn't even be putting that anger out into the world. It's just not good, right? Because everything around you is conscious all the time. It's all intaking. It's all outgiving. This whole world's alive. Not like this microphone, because this is 100% just like built by us. It's not like a natural thing, but like a wooden stand from like an oak tree. Like that stand's still alive. And if you've ever smoked salvia, then you know that that stand is alive because you've probably turned into that stand. You know? Like these are truths, and you're not going to easily find them because your TikTok isn't going to blast you in the face with it. And when you go to work, your coworkers aren't going to talk about this. They're going to just talk about work stuff and how much they hate working there while still working there. It's just silly. And like I said, I just want to bring more people into this fold, dumb it down. And if enough people magically watch this video, then like, sure, I'll keep talking about it. It just really grinded my gears in the Hasan interview last night that like Professor Jiang was saying real stuff, you know, he's a very knowledgeable guy. But the way he articulates things, it'd make the average simpleton just be like, what is this guy talking about? This guy thinks Jews run the world? Like, what is he talking about? And it's very, very, very like complicated, and it's like only a few truly understand it. And like I said, this place is like a board game to these people. Like I only know a little bit. I have a buddy that knows a bunch more than I do, and that Restoration of the Breach era, he knows so much. He's been devoting his life to learning this stuff. He was entwined with the top rabbis in Israel, but he broke off of them because he decided that these secrets shouldn't be kept from anyone any longer. These should be shared with people. We all need it, you know? In the true journey of our souls, while we're down here, the only thing you should be doing with your time in your body, with your incarnate, is spreading love and forgiveness, tilling the earth, taking care of each other and taking care of the earth, right? We shouldn't be arguing whether trans people should be having rights or not in the USA. That is just silly to me. We all come from the same source. We're all Jesus. I'm Jesus and you're Jesus. And the guy next door is Jesus, right? We're all Jesus. We can all be Jesus. Jesus, on one hand, he understood this because he had a Kabbalist teacher, right? Jesus was sitting up here in his mind. That's where Jesus was sitting. Up here. There's no heaven up there. The only heaven is the one you create in here. And the only hell you create is in here. If you're in a domestic abusive partnership and it's hell, well, your life experiences led you to that moment. And everything you've intaken in your life created it a hell for you. Now, what I may have said may have been a little bit insensitive or downplaying, you know, a domestic abuse partnership. But ultimately, like every experience you have is what you make of it. And if every experience you give it badness, you're going to end up in hell pretty much, right? Now, I'm not downplaying like sexual assault or anything like that. That's awful. You know, the things Epstein did, that's awful. You know, no one should have experienced that, let alone doing those things. But that's just the grand scheme of everything. Everything's an experience, and you got to try not to make it too good or too bad. I'm going to touch a little bit on transmutation because this is, you kind of got to grasp this to like understand this. You can change your hell into a heaven. You just have to go up here and play around. You gotta wield a big ass sword and just start chopping heads off of snakes and shit that live up here. You gotta give bad words a whole new meaning, right? You give bad words some good words, and guess what? It changes everything. Except the heaven's up here. It ain't up there. And there isn't no dude up there at a golden gate waiting for you to die and come up there, right? And there's no hell down there where some dude has a pitchfork and it's like 400,000 degrees. Like that ain't the case. And what's crazy is the concept of Satan having a pitchfork with it being hot as hell down there, everything's on fire, or God waiting at the pearly white gates for you. Like these are concepts that have just been given to us, especially as children, because children are so impressionable. You can just tell them lies about the world and they'll believe it. When I was a teenager, before I ever did LSD, I thought resources were infinite. I don't know, there could be no possible wrongdoing on the planet and like water was infinite. Guess what? Why the fuck does a company like Nestle own a water supply, a water reservoirs and shit? That to me is kind of fucked up. But you know, people would just be like, well, they have money, they can do what they want. It's like, no, like that is not, why are we riding on principles like that? You know, I had a conversation with my grandpa, who's a boomer, by the way, and I brought up how, like, I don't know, I was like, if I had billions of dollars and I wanted to go to some, I don't know, third world country, some random country, and spend all of my capital to just overthrow the government and make it whatever I want that country to be, would you be okay with that? And I pretty much got told yes, because it's my money, I can do whatever I want with it. Well, because of that line of thinking, we have people like fucking Epstein that did the most heinous shit on this planet. And I just cannot comprehend why everyone wants to dick ride everybody who has money. Money is just a resource. Like, who honestly cares? If I wanted to spend years in a basement figuring it out, I could probably create my own printer that the fucking Fed has and print literal dollar bills all I want to. Like, it blows my fucking mind. So many people would rather just go with the way how things are. And then if you ask them, well, why don't you want to help change it? They're like, there's too much work, or like, we're too scared of you think the government is just gonna roll a tank up on your front lawn and just fucking the Abrams tank is just gonna obliterate your fucking house? Like, no, dude. There's more of us than there are billionaires and fucking trillionaires. And Elon Musk isn't even a fucking trillionaire because he doesn't have any of that money. It's all tied up in the stock market and bonds. I don't get it. Back to my original point was that concepts are given to you, and a ceiling fan, that's not actually a fan. We just fucking made up a word for it and we call it that. And then all of a sudden now you have like these ideas in your head of what a fan should be, or a chair. There's a whole chair paradox out there about like what actually makes a chair. I'm sitting on a fucking ottoman right now, dude. I don't know. It's silly. And like I said, if enough people magically watch this and it somehow magically sparks a big discussion and people want more, I'll talk about it more. I'll come prepared with like shit written out, and I'll get into the meat and potatoes of it all. It's just, I just hate that people are going with the narrative that a bunch of Hasidic Jews control everything and blah 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 blah. Like, that's not the case, right? Being a billionaire and then in your Wikipedia it's saying you're a Jew is more so a dog whistle to these people, so they know that like, oh, you're in the in, basically. But to these people like Peter Thiel, they think that if they bring AI into existence, AGI, we're gonna go through a recursive loop of some sort, and Peter Thiel and his buddies will get rewritten into history, right? They'll get to have a golden era in history all to themselves. They'll get to have their own history written by fucking AGI or whatever. I don't really care, and I haven't really looked into it because I really don't give a shit what they want to do. If you want to look into it yourself, cool, but like, that's what these people are up to. The accelerationists want to bring AGI so that way, like, I don't know, I guess it'll be a recursive loop and they'll get to have AGI like do them good. They're like, well, we created AGI, so AGI will do us the favor by at some point in history giving us a golden era. I don't fucking know, and I really don't care. But that's just the way they think. And Israel wants to build the third temple and put the AI in that. And I don't really remember their whole eschatology of it, but they think it'll be the next coming of Jesus. And like I said, we're all fucking Jesus. Jesus wasn't some special guy. He has his own teachings, and like, I find it funny that Christians want to be like, oh, you're not going to get saved by Jesus by doing this thing I don't like. I doubt you've even read Jesus's teachings and what he was saying to people. And he's basically just said like what I just said to you, of like, we should all be loving and forgiving, take care of the earth and each other, like, look out for people trying to sell you bullshit, basically. A bunch of snake oil salesmen. And fucking the church didn't like that, so they fucking killed him. And the funniest part of it all is that Jesus said not to worship him. Because worshiping an individual or a thing is like actually the greatest sin you can commit against your soul. And a lot of people don't know this. You all got tricked into believing the fucking Bible and reading it and thinking that you're just gonna end up in heaven. And it's like not the case. It's just not the case. So many people have been duped, and so many people are just going along with it. And like I said, it's fucking silly. The Bible is a topic for a different time, another conversation. I'm just not going to go down that road. But I think it's fucking silly, and you're a doofus if you buy into it. Again, silly. It's all silly stuff. We all come from the same source. We're all the same. Just you're me at a different time, basically. Like, it's, if we start looking at it like that, maybe things could get better. I don't know. And frankly, I don't care if I come off like a schizo or this is just schizo posting or something. Like, no, you just aren't grasping what I'm saying, and you just don't have that thirst for knowledge and wanting to just keep digging deeper how our world truly works. Take, for example, Epstein, right? And all the heinous shit Epstein was doing with his buddies. In your life, you're supposed to, your experiences kind of, they don't really like make you who you are, but they help you become you, if that makes sense in any sort of way. But what Epstein and his buddies were trying to do, right, is you do super heinous evil shit, and you do it with each other, and it creates these knots in your head, right? And they just, over time, they sit there and think on it and like undo that knot, that evil act that they did created, thus giving them Fallout spec points or some bullshit. That's not how you're supposed to do it. They think that like by being evil, it'll do something to like the balance of the world, like in themselves. Like it thinks it just makes them better to like speed run attaining some kind of knowledge or insight or enlightenment. They're only making more people wake the hell up when they do shit like that. Like that's all they're doing. And we're at crunch time. All of these secret societies and their eschatologies and all the occult bullshit, they know it's crunch time. We're at the end of everyone's written prophecies, and this is a convergence point. There's cycles to this shit too. Like there's so much stuff. Like there's so much, right? And that's why the average layman needs roped into all of this. They need sat down and they need to like get a grasp on it somehow. Like I don't care how or why. More people just need to know. And that's why I felt like making this video. And someone like Professor Jiang, he's doing a great job talking about it. I'm sure Schneeko and all of his viewers understand it. I would hope so, unless they're all brain dead. I hope Professor Jiang keeps talking about it, because he's one of those people like Yira from Restoration of the Breach that like want to put this out there. Granted, someone like Yira is way more articulated than like anybody, right, when it comes to this. He's an actual teacher of this. He can teach you these things. And so that was my 2 cents on all of it. And hopefully I don't sound like I need 5150. So I wish Hasan could just see it. But if you're too materialist, like thinking, right, and you've spent your whole life thinking a certain way, it's going to be hard to get you to see another way. And it just grinds my gears that like so many people want to care about wages and Medicare for all. These are great things, by the way. Like I 100% back the DSA and any socialist that wants to run for office. I back that 100%. It's just these are issues created by us that do not matter. Okay? Like, what really matters is we should be all trying to love each other, not harm each other, not take what someone else has that you want. Like, these are silly, silly, silly things. And it makes me laugh every day that I see people just being like, oh, $80,000 truck and all my bills and my big house. I gotta go cut my grass. Like, these things are silly. Okay, like they're so silly. So basically back to the Professor Jiang interview with Hasan. Professor Jiang was trying to touch on these things, right? And Hasan just wasn't buying it, or Hasan would like tangent. I don't know. Like, it makes me sad that like a big disservice was done, and so many people were just like, yeah, this is conspiracy posting basically, and it's just no, it's just not the case. You're not your thoughts. When a thought pops into your head or an action, and then they translate to your hands, and then you can do things into this world. You can take your thought and put it into this world. Therefore, you are a creator, right? Something created all of us, and that something that was created by another thing. And that's just how it works. And if you've made it this far, it's because you understand these things, or these concepts give you a thirst. And the sun is doing its own thing. That thing is conscious. That is a being. The sun manipulates everything down here. Why do you think when there's a solar flare, earthquakes just spike, right? It's just how it intrinsically works. And remember all those scientists over the past few months, several months, that have just killed themselves apparently, or just been found dead? You want to know what they were studying? They were studying the fucking giant nuclear explosion up there in the sky, the fucking sun, because they all agree that the sun is alive, and the sun, whenever like discontent happens down here, or a lot of people are just upset, like when things happen down here, or events of some historical significance happen, fucking sunspots appear on the fucker. They were all studying that because they found out that when things happen down here, it affects the sun, and then the sun just sends that stuff back here, right? We're all fucking what, like 90-some% water or something? I may have gotten that wrong. We're like a crazy percentage of water, right? The moon affects all the tides of the ocean and all the water and stuff. You gotta be a moron to not think that these celestial bodies aren't even playing a part in any of this. It's crazy. And the media apparatus would rather talk about fucking, I don't know, Hasan claiming that America deserved 9/11 and all this other nonsense. Like, it's mind-bogglingly silly. I'm convinced, right, that there are no aliens out there. If there's any things out there in space living, it's us, because we went out there over thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of years. We went out there and explored. And if these little green ET aliens are real, those are us. Those are us choosing to go down a path. And we went down that path to the extreme. And that's what we ended up being. If there's Nordics or whatever out, like, that's cool. But they are us. Intrinsically, they're us. We probably all came from here. I don't think that there's other beings out there. I think we're all the same, right? Just as the source above us that animates everything down here, you know, we are the source. Think of it as if you were looking into a mirror, a full-bodied mirror, right? A really big full-bodied mirror, and you just fell into it, right, and shattered it. Each piece of shattered glass that has your reflection would be basically every person down here on Earth. I don't know if that analogy like really works, but that's kind of the idea, is we're all casts of one being. In the top of my head, I don't know. There's a whole plethora of things to talk about here. And I only have so much in my mind and what works for my daily framework to get me through, right? And for you, you might wake up, use toilet, get water, get food, go to work, come home, relax, do chores. And that's your framework to get you through the day, right? You don't think anything else. Like, your brain already has what you're going to need for the day, and you run off it like an OS, pretty much. If you even understood a fraction of what I said, then, like, good. I guess I did a good job, so. Bye.